updates from the field. So I think that we all agree that network disaggregation has moved from the concept stage to real-world implementation. And now the discussion revolves around, well, can we realize the benefits? What are some of the challenges that we still need to overcome? So that's what I want to discuss with you, our distinguished panel members. So we've got with us Sameer Malik, and Sameer is the Senior Principal Analyst for Service Providers Routing and Switching Networks at OMDIA.
Thank you.
Welcome Abhijeet Prabhune. Abhijeet is the VP of Global Solutions Engineering for IP Infusion. And we've got Ulik Broida, who's the EVP Products for Ceragon Networks. So thank you all for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gil.
We're going to do a speed dating version of panel discussions, right? Because we are short on time, so we'll ask you each a question, starting with you, Sameer. So you recently published an end-user survey covering IP transport network disaggregation, where you surveyed over 100 service providers globally. So what were some of the key takeaways from your survey? What are service providers telling us when it comes to network disaggregation?
Okay, so first, thanks for inviting me on this and talking about my survey. We did the survey all over the world, including the North America region, APAC, European, and different parts of the world. And it's mostly the people who covered are actually taking decisions that either they go for the disaggregation or not. That's very important. And as per my research analysis and survey, it was very interesting to find that around 80%, approximately 80% are looking forward to go for disaggregation. You believe it or not, but that's the dream for everyone. But the interesting part is, among 80%, 18% are only for the tier 1, the big one service providers. The rest all are the medium size or the normal service providers. I cannot consider them the big one. And you can see that their urge of going disaggregation.
Right.
And the next question in my survey and my research, I asked them that what is the motivation? Everybody knows that the freedom of choice is the biggest motivation for them, right? But another thing that comes up is the perfect competition, or they said there is a very limited competition in system 1, or the tier 1 system vendors, right? So we need to make it more bigger. That's the biggest motivation for them. So we can have a equal opportunity to choose whatever we need, and we can control better roadmaps in terms of technology. So that's the biggest motivation for them. And another question is about, what about the security and the reliability for the DCSGs? That's very important, right? Because people think that maybe the disaggregated vendors, they don't have that capability. So to overcome that one, they said that around 48% they believe that we have no issue with the reliability and the security of the boxes. And that's a big number. You can imagine disaggregation is not very old. It still is a new baby in the industry, right? As far as the research is concerned, and still people are very much satisfied in implementing that one. So overall, I cannot, we have a limited time, but I can say that overall disaggregation having a great future. The only shortcoming that I can see, as an analyst, is about the operational complexity. That how much the disaggregated vendors, including the software, the hardware, the system integrators, they can solve the operational complexities, because CTOs are much concerned if there is any problem in network, who is going to solve it? Where is a single point of blame or single point of claim for them to find out the issue? So that's around, if I'm not wrong, I think 44% people, they're still complaining that the operational complexity, how we can solve it. And I think the beauty of the TIP today and then with the panelists today, they're more better talking about a traffic engineering and a reliability issue for that one.
Right. Yeah. So Abhijeet, we are hearing from Sameer that in terms of reliability, a disaggregated solution is on par with a monolithic solution. But let's take this a level deeper. So when you engineer an IP network, is there any difference in terms of having a disaggregated solution versus a monolithic solution? And how do you deal with interoperability issues?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Gil, for having me on this panel. In July 2020, that's when we started our first production deployment of DCSG, or disaggregated cell site gateway, with Asia Pacific Telecom. So since then, the DCSG ecosystem has grown and matured in three aspects that Sameer brought up. The first is the IP transport, right? The packet transport and services. This is all the basic IP MPLS segment routing with L2VPN and EVPN services. That's standard. That works exactly the same whether you're going disaggregated or legacy systems. The second aspect is the flexible converged access and transport. This might be you want to bring 3G, 4G, and 5G together, or add business services, or want the flexibility of having fiber or microwave backhaul. So that flexibility aspect that Sameer talked about becomes very important, and DCSG is actually differentiated in that. Then the last piece is the operational piece, which is bringing all the business and integrating the systems for the operations guys to feel comfortable that then they can now start rolling out the services on a mass scale. And TIP, standardization, the compliance framework, and the gold badge testing has been a pivotal in all of these aspects, right? The gold badge is given to commercial solutions that can be deployed today with a very extensive end-to-end multi-vendor ecosystem testing. And IP Infusion Oknos has been able to earn that TIP gold badge. Now, putting all of this solution together, the IP50FX and IP Infusion Oknos together can be deployed today by service providers for flexible transport, migrating the services from legacy to EVPN, and providing the flexible options of fiber as microwave as backhaul. So, but the proof is in the pudding, right? So, with Asia Pacific Telecom, Comsol, and a lot of other service providers deploying the services today with this DCSG for both 5G, legacy, and new services, that's where it's at. And that has already been happening since 2020.
Right, that's great. So turning now to Ulik, Sameer talked about, and also Abhijeet, about two issues. One is obviously the benefit of the reduced TCO of a disaggregated solution, right? So do you think that that benefit can be realized? In which use case can it be realized? And as a derivative of that, once you are disaggregating the different layers of the network, you have to put all the pieces together. As Sameer said, you need one point of contact to do that for you.
Yeah, so Gil, I think best is to talk about cost. We divide the answer according to the way our customers use the solution. So we'll start with the general concept of routing, what we call disaggregated open routing. In this case, is merely the fact that we take a solution and we cut it to slices, and you have a choice as a customer for each of these slices from multiple vendors. This by itself pushes the price down. If we go to a more focused use case, when we talk about wireless backhaul, and we talk about the disaggregated cell site gateway or cell site router, in this use case, actually this box, this IP50FX, can take the place of two network elements in the customer network: the cell site router and the Indo unit of the wireless transport. We call it open transport. These two-in-one have very significant cost saving, both on CapEx and OpEx from day one. So this, I would say, from cost perspective, is a very significant factor. Now, I hear the concern of customers in the survey about who is owning the solution. Customers are looking for something that we call single point of blame. When we have so many vendors comprising the solution, who should they approach to install, commission, support, and so on? And our solution to that is, from the day we chose the IPI for our partner, we are creating this solution together, we are testing this solution together. In both companies, we have people that knows the end-to-end solution. And in our use cases in the last year, when we are selling this product, we are the single point to blame. We are the point of focus for all matters, good or bad. And I think this addresses this very legitimate concern.
And so at the end of the day, what do you think is going to be the leading deployment model? So is it going to be someone like Ceragon who integrates the entire solution? How do you see that?
Well, I think that as we go on, this solution will be more widespread, and customers will get more, I would say, the confidence to use their own system integrators. In the beginning, we see they are coming to us, either to IPI or to us, as the owners of the technology. But because this is actually open, basic, and because of the TIP certification program, everything is fairly simple, we believe that this will propagate to customers using their own system integrator of their house, as they are familiar with. So it will become more of a natural thing for them.
Right, so let's talk a little bit maybe on the specific use case of wireless transport. So we've talked about the ability to provide a disaggregated solution that is on par, but is there actually some added benefit in the wireless transport case that a disaggregated solution can provide?
Yeah, so what we see is that our partnership with IPI actually ensures that we have a partner which is focused on the layer 3 network operating system, bringing the features as they come out, so our customers really can enjoy the best, up-to-date, most advanced features in this space, like SRv6 and other nice buzzwords that are running around, and therefore they get the basic wireless transport solution they looked for with the most updated layer 3 features that they can get.
So on that point, Abhijeet, let's talk a little bit about roadmap going forward. How do you see the network disaggregated sort of routers evolving in terms of the routing functionality?
So that's good. So I'll talk about two things actually. One that Ulik mentioned, which is innovation, right? Now, if you start looking at how disaggregated can change the innovation game, right? If you look at the IP50 FX box, it has some really cool features in terms of link bonding, how it manages the rayon, the radio controllers, how the radio controller management system sits on the DCSG itself to provide better performance. And all of that innovation has happened through this partnership with Ceragon and IP Infusion by working together and creating that software and hardware synergy, which is not possible if you're doing only with one partner, right? If the whole solution is coming from only one person. That's one aspect. Then looking at the roadmap aspect, right? Most of the service providers, where they are looking at is they're starting to look at their MPLS. How do I first transfer my MPLS services from an existing network into a disaggregated transport? Then they're looking at, okay, now that I've done that, how do I add segment routing as the next aspect of the transport? And the reason for that is to add more services, obviously to make money, right? Because now you're going beyond TCO and saying, how can I make more money by using these technologies? And then the next step is SRv6, which goes a step further and starts enabling additional use cases like IoT or TV over the top, OTT, those kind of aspects.
Okay, guys, thank you for a very fruitful discussion. Everyone, don't forget to visit us at our booth and have a very good rest of the conference.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gil. Thank you, everyone.